Hello, good day everyone. So welcome to my presentation. I am teacher Manuel Mendonça Araújo from Timor Leste. Now I'm a teacher, or I'm teaching English in the Institute of São João de Brito. This is a Jesuit and a Catholic university in the country. Let me address my thanksgiving especially to the committee organizer who host this webinar, and also my special thank to all the audiences, participants who now join with me in this presentation. I hope everybody is doing well. Let's start with my presentation. Today I'm going to present to all of you about the social media platforms used by Indonesian EFL undergraduate students to improve their English. Let's begin. Here are my outlines. As you can see, introduction, literature review, research methodology, findings, discussions, and the last one is conclusion and recommendations. Let's begin with the main points or the key ideas of my presentation. In this presentation, the overall information is to show how Indonesian EFL undergraduate students' engagement through using ICT and social media platforms in their learning, in their classrooms and at house or at homes as usual. In the introduction, I would like to present to all of you that as we know that ICT and social media platforms enhancing learning experiences in this digital age. And number one, I would like to highlight that they foster collaboration among students, making learning more engaging and interactive. As we knew that if we compare today's learning with the previous learning or with traditional learning, long time ago it was the traditional learning, like teachers were the centers of the learning and students were the listeners or the writers, the observers, and lack of opportunities to express or to lack of resources to use. But in this digital age, we see that each students in every country, or we can say that almost around the world, use their cell phones, their laptops in the class, at homes, everywhere they are, to access the materials or to access the learning that they need. So number two, they help students access to diverse resources. As we know that social media provides a wealth of information and diverse learning materials readily accessible to students. So nowadays, anyone, anywhere, anytime can access anything he or she wants to. And the third is ICT and social media platforms provide real-time feedback. So they enable instant feedback from peers, from educators, and also the objective is to enhance or empowering the learning process and retention. So we can, as teachers, we can use the social media platforms to give feedback to our students straight away in a second or within a minute. So if it is very fast digital learning tools. And the fourth is they boost motivation, students' motivations and teachers' motivations. So if both students and teachers engaging with technology increases motivation, and we will find learning more enjoyable and relevant. So imagine that in a classroom, students have the cell phones and the internet connections are available and teachers are connected. So everybody discuss a point, discuss a topic, and then related the topics, the examples straight away to the resources from the social media platforms. Imagine the learning process will be more efficient, effective, and students will learn a lot compared to teachers, depending on the teacher who is explaining everything, who is writing examples. And social media helps a lot in this part. And 5, social media and ICT lead the global connectivity, as we have just shared earlier. Like social media connects students globally, allowing for cultural exchange and collaborative projects. So through the social media, anyone can connect with anybody from anywhere in the world. So especially using English language, anyone can communicate. Even now, if we're living far away, but social media makes us even closer than before. And the second is the literature review. In this, I use the theoretical review. So I use 2 theories in this study. The first theory is from Kaplan and Henley to 2010, who defined social media as a group of interest-based applications that build on the ideological and technological foundations of Web 2.0 that allow the creation and exchanging of user-generated content. I think everybody understood with this definition from the authors, because nowadays everybody access to the internet as an application that to share, exchanging, and to learn something. And the second theory is from Lee and Bernoff 2008, who classified social media platforms into 6 parts, such as create, connect, collaborate, reach out, organize, and consume. I think every one of us who is using the cell phones, the laptops in everyday lives, we are practicing those platforms. We are practicing these 6 parts in our daily life, in our communication, in our learning and teaching process. And the second, the literature review from this study, I come up with just 2 from all of them, like Brick 2012, who stated that social media is utilized for language learning. Here I just focus on how social media is utilized for language learning, because it enabling learners, based on the author expressed that social media enable the learners to exchange knowledge through peer-reviewed activities and international networking through language exchange. So as I've mentioned earlier, like if anyone is accessible to all informations, can communicate with anyone else outside or everywhere, has more advantages and benefits to share information, knowledge and skills as well. And the other is Mubarak 2016, who said that social media refers to online platforms like social networking and microblogging created by users for conversation, ideas exchange, information sharing, and professional contacts. So as I've said earlier, like this is all the things that we have been doing so far since we use the ICT and social media platforms. In the research methodology, I use the mixed methods approach, which was proposed by Creswell 2015, and I applied purposive sampling to select the students, because I had the students in the class and they have a very specific characteristic, and I used this purposive sampling to get the data. And why purposive sampling? Because these students come from different backgrounds, and they are in a class. They have different experiences of learning. They have their different experiences of using ICTs and different experiences of accessing social media platforms in learning. So in the class, there were 35 undergraduate students from Sanata Dharma University. They undergraduate, and they provide the diverse perspective on using the ICT and social media in their daily life of learning English. So I used a questionnaire and semi-structured interview, which I conducted via WhatsApp to gather in-depth information on students' engagement. And then 10 students finally agreed to be interviewed via WhatsApp, and to assure their identity, I used pseudonyms, as I coded M for males and F for females. Thank you. Here is the participants' demographic information. As you can see, I divided the participants into 3 age groups. The first group is from 18 to 21 is 34%, and 22 to 25 is 66%, and then the last one is 26 to 30 is 3% only. And here is the ICT uses by the students at home. So the findings shows that only 40% of students use the laptop at home to study English, to improve their English, and 60% say that they use phone rather than laptop to study or to improve their English. So it means that phone is mostly used by the students in accessing the information to improve their English at homes. And the second is using the ICT in the classroom. So the findings show that illustrates that there is 29% of students using laptop in the classroom, and 71% of students state that they use the phone even though in the classroom. So here research question number 2 also proves that phone is as the most used ICT for learning English by the students. And the third, the frequency of social media usage by the students. So as you guys, you can see on the screen that there is Google reached the first top used by the students with 4.74, and followed by YouTube as the second most used social media platforms by students with 4.49, and followed by TikTok with 3.51. However, TikTok and Instagram as the middle, they reach the middle of as the third most used. I want to repeat, TikTok and Instagram as the third most used social media platforms by students, and followed by WhatsApp as the fourth most used, and then the last one is Twitter was the last or the least most used by the students to improve their English. In the interviewee's points of view, the participants affirmed that using phone is effective to improve English at home and in the classroom. So as you have seen already that Google reached number 1, YouTube number 2, TikTok and Instagram number 3. So these are the most dominant social media platforms that used by students to empower their English. In the conclusion, I would like to say that these findings provides the data of the students or of the participants on the levels of using ICT and social media platforms in improving their English skills. So it also to help the teachers, the decision makers, the future researchers to continue conducting research on the students, and for the teachers how to help students in the classroom to use social media platforms more effectively and more helpful for the students. The most important thing is how we as a teachers help them to access the appropriate contents that boost their learning experiences. So I think that's all my presentation. Thank you so much for your kindness, attention and listening, and I do hope that you learned something from this presentation, and I do hope that what you have learned you can use in your teaching or learning experiences with your friends, your colleagues, your students, or whoever you share your experiences with. And my apology if in the presentation I didn't say something very clear or something is not very helpful. My apology for that. I'm learning by doing, and I'm learning from day to day to be the best version of myself. Thank you so much, and